Today I am going to be teaching you how to paint winter watercolor bookmarks. So I already have my paints prepared off to the side. My color palette you can see right here. I already determined that before I started painting. I have my 2 cups of water, my paper towel, my flat brush, as well as a round brush that I'll be using later on, and we are good to go. So take your flat brush, fill it up with some clean water, and I want you to apply it all over your bookmark. Just a nice even gloss. You don't want it really pooling in any area. Just want it nice and even. And then the first that we're gonna do is we're gonna do a blue night sky. So I already have my blue paint prepared off to the side over here. And this, I'm gonna start at the bottom because I want it to be the lightest at the bottom, and you want to make sure like you're thinking about where you're wanting your trees to go, because we are going to be adding trees to this. All right, and then now about this spot, I'm going to add more pigment to my paint mixture so that my night sky is going to become darker. And eventually we're going to go straight into just using Paynes gray instead of blue and Paynes gray together. So I just want this nice and thick. And I'm just going to pull that all the way up. Add a little bit more paint. All right, and then I'm going to go straight into my Paynes gray, and I'm going to apply that at the top. And then I'm going to rinse off this paint in a separate cup of water so that it doesn't muddy up my clean water, because we'll be using that a lot. I'm just going to blend this out, going down. And then I'm going to clean my brush again. Dry it, and then I'm going to go up this way just to kind of take away some of the darkness that I brought down, but not a lot of it. All right, and then we are going to let this bookmark dry. So I'm going to just set that off to the side, and then I'm going to grab the next one because we're going to be doing 4 together. And now what we're going to do, we're going to do the same first step. We're going to apply with clean water all the way up. So for this one, we're going to start with the blue at the top, and then we're going to work down into green. So if you need to, you can replenish that navy blue color that you had previously created but might have used up. You're going to start applying that. So just apply that color to the top. And again, you want it to be darker at the top of this painting. And then rinse your brush. Dry it off, and then go into your green paint mixture. And we're going to go from the bottom and work our way up. And then we're going to blend. I like to leave mine a little bit at an angle just to give it a little bit more of a natural bleed into each other. I'm going to add a little bit more green a little bit higher up, and I'm going to clean this. And I'm going to go back in with a little bit darker blue just at the top right here. It just looks really light to me. Just like that. Now we're going to set this one off to the side as well to let that dry. And then we're going to bring our next bookmark in. All right, and you can guess what we're going to do. We're going to fill it up with clean water. And then we are going to start with blue, and we're going to go into pink. I'm going to clean my brush off again. Then I'm going to go in starting at the bottom, going up into the blue. On my blog, I will have all of these specific paint colors that I am using listed over there. I'll have a link in the description box below, so you can just click that, head over there, and then you can see all of the specific paint colors that I used if you are interested. I'm just adding a little bit more of that pink color to the bottom. It was looking very light to me. And then I'm going to clean my brush off. I'm going to add just a little bit more darker blue to the top area. Starting at the very top. And just blend that right there together. There we go. I'm going to let this one dry. And we just have one more, and that's going to be blue. And it's going to go into purple. Put this off to the side to let that dry. So you can see why taping your bookmark beforehand is really helpful. It'll save you a ton of time in transitioning between each bookmark. And I think it's just going to give our bookmarks a very clean look at the end to have that crisp white line. All right, so we're going to start with our navy blue again. And it'll just show you how many amazing different color combinations you can create using the same watercolor techniques. Like that. Clean my brush off. And go right into my purple. And then just carry it up. And then blend those two colors together. For this one, I'm going to come back in with a little bit more purple, especially right here in the center. Clean my brush. Just create a little bit darker blue at the top. And just blend those together like we did before. Just like that. All right, now you want these, all four of them, to completely dry before we move on to our next step. For our next step, all we have to do is splatter each bookmark with white paint to give it the appearance of stars or snow. So I already have my round brush prepared. I have it loaded up with a lot of water and a lot of paint. So if you notice that when you start to tap your brush, if a lot of paint isn't coming off, you just need to probably add more water and more paint to it to make it very liquidy, very fluid, to get as far away from that dry brush as possible. So now what you're going to do, I have all 4 of mine just set out like this. They've all dried. So I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to tap over it, over each painting. I'm going to go back in, get more water and more paint, and just tap. It's okay if you have to reload after each, like I'm doing. And you can also use a bigger brush too, that would hold more paint. And there you have it. And again, you're going to want all of these white splatters to dry. And then we can go in with our last layer, which is going to be adding a row of black forest trees. The process of how I paint in the trees to the bottom of my night sky. So here's an example of what I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you how I paint these dark silhouettes of these evergreen trees onto the night sky. So I already did my other 3 bookmarks. I'm going to show you the process for this one so that I can walk you through it and you can understand it. And then I will show you a time-lapse version of myself painting the other bookmarks just so you can see it all come together at the very end. So what you're going to want to do is take a small detailed brush, and the only paint color we're going to use for this is Paynes gray, and you want it to be a very dark paint mixture, and that just means a lot of paint, a less amount of water. And what we're going to do is we're going to start on the very corner, and we're just going to draw a very thin straight line for our base of our tree trunk. And then you're just going to be going little zigzag lines, starting very small at the top and working your way downward, just in a zigzag formation. You don't want it to be a big blob. You want to see the different zigzags that make up those evergreen branches. I always find it easier going from top to bottom. If you start at the bottom, it's easy to end up running out of space when you try to start getting smaller. It's always easier to get bigger toward the bottom. All right, and there's our first one. So now we're going to repeat that step all the way across, but we're going to vary in different sizes. So our next one, I'm going to make a little bit smaller. And you see how it starts next to it, but it's going to touch at the bottom, and that's okay. We want it to look really full. And then again, just zigzag all the way down. I love doing these trees. I find it to be very great practice when it comes to water and paint control. So now we're going to go and just make a medium-sized tree. So in between the two. And then I'm just going to add a little bit, leave a little bit more spacing just to make it feel a little bit different than the others. And just work all the way down. For the next one, I think I'm going to go really tall. And then again, you're just going to zigzag all the way down. So this is a very easy, beginner-friendly tutorial. It's a fun gift to make for someone for the holidays. And it's very easy to do. You just need to know a basic wash technique of doing the background, splattering your white paint to make it look like snow, and then just knowing how to paint a straight line and then drawing zigzags all the way down. It is a lot of fun. Okay, now I'm going to do a really small one. And I started over because I don't want my small one to immediately blend into the bottom of that tree. I want it to have a little bit of time to stand apart before it does blend in. Just zigzag. There, and then one more, and it's just going to be a medium tree. Try to make the tips of these trees as thin as possible. I feel like that really helps the look when the very tip is very thin. And the best way to do that is just with light pressure on your brush, just very quickly going down. You don't need a lot of pressure. I'm just going to go back in to a couple of these light areas. Just add a little bit more darker tone. But I really do love how some of my trees kind of fade from really bold to light. I feel like that gives it a great look. All right, and that is it for our painting part of our bookmarks. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's winter watercolor bookmark tutorial. If you'd like any extra detail on this tutorial, head over to my blog, Reflecting Creation. I will have a link in the description box below. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button. I will be posting new videos 3 times a week, so you don't want to miss that. And if you did find this video helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. Thanks. Bye.